voulais savoir quels sont les films que vous avez vus quand vous étiez petit et qui vous ont donné envie de faire du cinéma, qui ont nourri votre goût des univers fantastiques.
When I was a young guy in New Zealand, at the very beginning I really didn't get to go to the cinema very often because we lived about 25 miles away from the closest cinema, and my parents they weren't really movie fans, so you know I didn't get to go very often. One of the first movies I saw was Batman with Adam West, based on the old TV show, and I remember seeing Thunderbirds Go. It was again based on the TV show, but the cinema version of it. But my biggest influences were TV shows, really. At that time I used to look at things like Thunderbirds. I loved The Avengers with Diana Rigg and Patrick McNee. I loved what I developed. I mean, I eventually saw King Kong, the original King Kong, on TV when it was screened in New Zealand when I was about 9 years old, and I was developing a taste really for escapism, and I could feel that. I had a very gentle, nice childhood in New Zealand, but very unremarkable, and like a lot of children all around the world, it was escapism that I loved the best in my early cinema.
You miss her, don't you?
She's gone.
What if she isn't? What if she's still here?
Grandma, Susie's in the in-between.
You know, I had no interest in what anyone else had done portraying heaven in movies, because, you know, at the point of our story was not to show heaven or show an afterlife that exists as a reality separate to our characters and our story. We didn't want that. You know, we didn't want to treat it, as I said before, we didn't want to treat it as a physical location. We wanted to say that we're now getting into, you know, the subconscious of Susie. But what the difficulty is, of course, is we're dealing with the world of metaphor, and everything that's in there is not a literal representation, it's a metaphor for something else. And what's difficult is balancing that so that the audience can understand what they're seeing, you know, because I'm not available to talk to them, talk to everybody at the beginning of the film with a microphone and explain it. So we're trying to make it simple enough that people can understand, but at the same time not too simple that it falls into cliche.
I was alive in my own perfect world. But in my heart, I knew it wasn't perfect. My murderer still haunted me.
You know, so that it was fun. I mean, that was what was a lot of fun. There was this puzzle of trying to create visual clues to help, you know, to help both Susie and the characters in the film, but also to communicate with the audience as well.
Can't you just leave it alone?
Dad!
Come on, face me!